I'm the #1 interested person in getting this out of the way, right? I think we've seen today, without the need to reiterate, the importance of security as we move forward in our organizations. And any new initiatives that we build out and make available to the public need to have security embedded in them, but also an ease of use inherent to end users that may or may not have the security expertise needed to correctly identify ongoing and emerging threats. Is this working? Okay, as you have seen today, cybercrime, in all honesty, it's become the 4th largest industry in the world. It now nets over $1 trillion per year. So there are more mafias and organized crime associated with cyber technology, cybersecurity than ever before. It's important, I'm not trying to scare you guys, I'm just saying that there are different threats everywhere, and what I want to come in and do is to tell you guys about some of the solution sets that we can help you put into your organizations that help to mitigate and mediate some of these issues as they come up. So, as we saw earlier today, and rightly so, there is an abundance today of more sophisticated and targeted attacks. It's not just the standard virus that comes through. People are more and more clever. And I loved what Mr. Mitnick said as far as needing to protect the information as it goes out of your organization and the egress ports. It's not only the incoming that we have to be aware of, it's what is outgoing. So we do have solutions that will help your companies protect inherently your entire network. So these are just some examples. USBs, we've heard everything from exchanging passwords for a pen to leaving USBs, you know, even more receptive if there's actually a government logo on those USBs for people to take them and put them into their computers. So I'd say the user is the weakest link, but that does not take away from the fact that we need to protect our networks. We need to protect how people are connecting into them, what information they can retrieve. If they are infected, what do we do? How do we handle it? How do we immediately go to resolve that situation without getting any leakage from our data, right? Because what we're trying to protect overall is our information that makes our company, our organizations, our own. So obviously the impact of cyber crimes, what are we going to do about it? The automated machine-to-machine attacks, as more devices are connected onto the internet, we will see a rise. Those are on the threat predictions for 2018 and 2019. So as more people migrate over to smart homes, everything along those lines, anything and everything connected, cars, refrigerators, everything you can think of, alarm systems, videos, that will potentially be exposing us to more and more hacks that can come in. And just as Mr. Mitnick showed how he can activate the webcam on a computer, potentially as we deploy cameras throughout our homes and have CCTV and everything like that, the hackers, upon gaining access, could also be gaining access to your alarm codes, to all of the video that you have in your house, and a large list of et cetera. So protecting, as we move forward, the Internet of Things as well as your organization is going to be fundamental and important. The average life cycle of an attack, so how long a malware sits in a network before being detected or before actually doing anything to purge your information or passwords, it's getting longer and longer, and then it takes a longer period of time, and it's more expensive to clean up afterwards. You are going to be way safer and invest less money by doing the user training, as Mr. Mitnick suggested, and putting in the correct infrastructure protection in your networks than you are going to be cleaning up messes. And that is just quantifiable damages. It's really difficult to quantify damages in image or user trust or anything that any of the governments may suffer as a result of this being published if there is a breach. So it's really not a matter of if, it's just a question of when and what we're going to do about it, right? So I'm more about solutions. From Fortinet, we are one of the top cybersecurity players, I would say within the top 3. I'm not going to go into a lot of information. I have cards here, right? So if anybody wants more information, recognized throughout the industry as far as being innovative and proactive about helping our customers to resolve some of these issues as the complexity increases and as the frequency increases as far as security breaches are concerned. We have over 200 dedicated security engineers sitting in Vancouver and Sophia Antipolis in France, and also in Singapore. Their job every day is to go in and find the bad guys. With honeypots, they can find all sorts of botnets, infections, intrusion prevention. And what that essentially allows us to do is to take all of that metadata. So there's teras and teras coming into our labs every day of threat samples. This is just 1 minute in the life of FortiGuard labs. These guys are dedicated professionals, and essentially what we do is take all of that information and put it into updates so that when you have our systems in place, you are getting the result of all of that information feed in the format of a proactive, coherent solution set that is Fortinet. So as far as lessons with security and what we're going to do about it, Fortinet as such has always believed, and this is a quote from the very, very famous Bruce Schneider, he's right up there along with Mr. Mitnick, complexity is the enemy of security. So the more points and weaknesses that you have, the easier it is that the hacker is going to have to find that area of weakness. So what we essentially look to do here at Fortinet is to help you simplify security. It can be in the format of letting us take care of most of the upgrades, the updates, as far as maintaining your network infrastructure, the most secure possible. Common platform across all size, consistent, consolidated, faster, more robust, and consolidating more and more of these feature sets that you guys will need moving forward to protect your networks. This is one more thing about consolidation. It's just going back to the point of making your lives easier. You cannot, moving forward, have point solutions, different management, different lines of support. It's more of a one-stop shop, but making sure at the same time that that one stop is the best solution for your companies. Visibility is critical. A lot of times it's very difficult for us to identify where the threats are coming from. Fortinet as such has made huge strides as far as providing our customers with visibility of everything that's going on within their networks. You can see what a user, just by click down menus, bubble graphs, you can see who's connecting, what operating system they're using, how much of your bandwidth are they consuming, how are they consuming it, are they infected by malware, are they sending out spam? You can see all of those things. You can get executive reports, you can get technical reports, you can pretty much do everything. But for us moving forward, if you do not know what's going on, or where that threat is coming from, it's going to be very difficult for all of us to protect and prevent against that from just taking your network down. So this is one of the things and tools that we provide within our solution to help get that visibility of what's going on in your network. And you can see it gives you a very granular, very user-friendly idea of exactly what is taking place and how it's taking place. I'm not giving anyone permission to snoop, but I'm saying it's very helpful when you're looking to see the source of an attack, a source of any network issues, bandwidth hogs even, and mitigate against that, right? You can put them into quarantine, you can limit their usage. There's a lot of proactive mechanisms that you can take once you have the visibility. I think another thing that's lacking in our organizations is a way for us to see what assets we have. Who's out there? What's out there? We have mechanisms of discovery within our FortiCM tool that will allow you to take an inventory of active assets and identify those critical assets and also start to monitor those critical assets. And by that, I'm not only talking about my lovely firewalls, I'm talking about the routers, the switches, the server farms, everything along those lines that is an asset to your organization. We can allow you to monitor that, get security alerts on those, and have a coherent vision of everything in your network, not just your security devices. So that's called our FortiCM, but I won't dwell on that point. Segmentation is critical moving forward. The reasons that attacks like WannaCry have been so successful is because many organizations, out of lack of expertise, for example, don't have the correct segmentation. That means the networks are flat, and when there is a worm, it will just go from one device to the next, to the next, to the next, infecting your entire organization until there's no devices left to affect. All right, to infect. So what we do here, when you segment, and you can do this with your wireless network, with your wired network, segmentation is key for your internal network to segment out departments or whatever you need to do, but to have some security between those different networks as traffic traverses your internal network, as it goes out to the internet, as it comes in, your DMZs, your SSIDs, all of that needs to be separate and apart so that once something does come in, it's not going to affect all of your users, but rather a small subset of those users. We can help you design give you best practices as far as internal segmentation firewalls, which is how do I segment internally and provide the proper security mechanisms between those internal segments. And also as far as the perimeter is concerned, we make it very, very easy to add security components seamlessly within the same device for up to 10 network segments. So you can have here several DMZs, you can have server farms, you can have internet, you can have all of that stuff and the access to the internet as well, and they can have different security policies applied to them according to your organization's needs and within the same consolidated device. And that's a pretty powerful story for places that may not have a ton of money to spend. They need the security, but they don't have a ton of cash. So they look to us to not only help with security best practices, but to also help them simplify their architecture and lower their operating costs. That's one of the huge benefits that Fortinet has. This is just an example of how you can do the internal segmentation via our virtualization mechanisms called vDomes. And then this is really the vision of Fortinet going forward from the CEO down. It's as we roll out our 21st century governments and our 21st century society, to have solutions in place that talk to each other, that communicate, that give you coherent and cohesive feedback, a single pane of glass management. That is what we're looking to achieve. So as you move forward, you'll see Fortinet not only present in the firewall gateways, but moving more and more into secure wireless technologies, secure LAN access technologies, so secure switches, all of which are centrally managed, clients, tokens, all of this rolls up into our solution set that will allow you to run not only security audits, so you just literally click a button on our solutions and it will run an audit for you and it will provide recommendations that you can actually implement by clicking another button. You don't have to. You can do a deep dive and analyze it, whatever, but we make it easy for you to recognize where there are security gaps and holes within your network and fix it. Yeah, so we make it as easy as possible. We can do these risk audits. We also have a cybersecurity threat assessment. So it essentially, we put a device in sniffer mode in your network for between 7 to 10 days, and we will deliver you a report on what vulnerabilities we've detected, and more importantly, how are we going to fix it? We'll put into you, the customer, the organization, what we would recommend as far as a solution. This is part of the security risk audit again. It will tell you what's going on, how you can fix it. Oops. I'm almost done, don't worry. This is where we act. A lot of people say, where does Fortinet play? In what spaces specifically are we a key vendor? With us, it's not only the perimeter anymore. The perimeter no longer exists because of mobility and plethora of other factors that are in the 21st century, but we play well in the data center, in large organizations, small organizations, the cloud. As things move into cloud, we have tools that you can use to support your organization's decision to put services in the cloud, but also apply protection mechanisms and still maintain all of that visibility as far as the information flow going to and from the cloud. It's pretty impressive to see. These are the areas that we play in. Once again, enterprise, firewall, Just to summarize where we are headed as far as the security fabric, this is what we are looking to do as a company strategy. Solutions need to be more and more intelligent. They need to be more and more powerful as our networks and our applications and the general bandwidth has increased exponentially. We have to have solutions in place that aren't going to slow things down, that will allow you to continue business as usual, give you the tools you need, and not end up having 1,000 user complaints as far as slowness in the network. Yeah? And then seamless, like how easily is it integrated? How do they talk to each other? And giving you that single pane of glass management to make your lives easier and to focus in on your organization and your citizens, rightly so. So thank you very much for your time. If you have any questions afterwards, I'll be right there, and I have business cards as well. Thank you.
Thank you very